For today's lesson, we will be discussing about solving situational problems involving systems of nonlinear equations. So we're already done discussing about system of nonlinear equations. We're able to solve them. So this time, what we will do is we will be solving word problems that involves system of nonlinear equations. So let's recall first what are the methods in solving system of nonlinear equations. So of course, we have substitution. Then we have elimination, and actually the third one, you can use also graphing. So those are the methods that we can use in order to solve for system of nonlinear equation. Let's have this first problem. The screen size of television sets is given in inches. This indicates the length of the diagonal. Screens of the same size can come in different shapes. Widescreen TVs usually have screens with aspect 16:9, indicating the ratio of the width to the height. Older TV models often have aspect ratio of 4:3. A 40-inch LED TV has screen aspect ratio 16:9. Now we have to find the width and height of the screen. So again, we're talking about television sets. So I hope you are familiar with how do they look like, and with the television sets that we have in these days, so most of them are already following the aspect ratio of 16:9. Now, given that a 40-inch TV has an aspect screen ratio of 16:9, now we have to find what is the width and what is the height of the screen. In order for us to solve this particular problem, what we need to do is of course to illustrate. So just like how we do it with other word problems. So take note, we are considering a television wherein its screen aspect ratio is 16:9. So let's say we have this rectangle that represents the television. And from the problem, we also know that the size of the screen is 40 inches. And whenever we measure the size of the screen, we are actually looking at the diagonal. So again, it's 40 inches. Again, take note, the screen aspect ratio of the television that we are considering in this word problem is 16:9. Now, the problem is we have to identify what is the width and the height of the given television. So we have to set variables for the width and also for the height. We can set x as the height of the television. So that means both sides of this rectangle should be x, because of course they should be just equal. And we can set the width as y. So the bottom and also the top part here is also y. So this is now the illustration of our word problem. Now from here, we have to construct equations, nonlinear equations, so that we can solve what is the value of x and what is the value of y, because x and y represents the height and also the width of the given television. So what we know first is that this television follows a ratio of 16:9. So ratio can also be written in fraction form. So if you are thinking about ratio of 16:9, that means it's 16/9. And we know 16 is for the width, and then 9 is for the height of the television. So with that, we can actually write our first equation as y over x. So you're getting the ratio of the width by the height, and that is 16/9 or 16/9. So again, our first equation came from the given that this television follows a ratio of 16:9. And again, when we're talking about the screen aspect ratio, we are looking at the width and the height of the television. So that's why it's y over x equals 16/9. Now we have to create another equation using the figure that we created. So what we can do is we can look at the rectangle here, and as you can see, after we put the diagonal, there are now two right triangles formed. So this one is a right triangle, this one is also a right triangle. So in writing our equation, we need to have the x and y variables. So we can consider this a first triangle here. wherein x is one of the legs, y is also the legs, and the diagonal here represents the hypotenuse of the given triangle. So we can use the Pythagorean theorem to create the second equation. So that will be x squared plus y squared equals 40 squared. Now, x squared plus y squared, again, this follows the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So, you're adding the squares of the leg, and it should be equal with the square of the hypotenuse, which is 40 squared. Now, this equation number 2, we can also write this as x squared plus y squared equals 1,600. So, we can write the system as y over x equals 16 over 9. And the other equation is x squared plus y squared equals 1,600. So this is now our system of nonlinear equations. So we will be using this in order to solve for the values of x and y. Again, remember, x represents the height of the television and y represents the width of the television. So let's just write here the equation. We have y over x equals 16 over 9. And then the other one is x squared plus y squared equals 1,600. Now we have to identify what method are we going to use, substitution or elimination. So in this case, it's better if we will use substitution, because if you will look closely at the variables given, on the second equation, the variables are squared, whereas on the first one, they are not. So, it will be a bit difficult for us if we will use elimination, since in the first place, the variables are not the same. So, we can use equation number 1, and let's try to use substitution. So, using equation number 1, which is y over x equals 16 over 9, we have to manipulate this so that we can isolate one of the variables. So to do that, we can just multiply both sides by x. This will be cancelled. We have y equals 16 over 9x. And then we will use this value and substitute it to equation number 2. So using equation number 2, x squared plus y squared equals 1,600. Let's substitute the value of y. So we have x squared plus 16 over 9x and then squared equals 1,600. And then simplify this. We have x squared equals, or x squared plus 256x squared all over 81 equals 1,600. Now to remove the denominator, or to remove 81, let's multiply both sides of the equation by 81. Multiplying both sides by 81, we will get 81x squared plus 256x squared equals 1,600 times 81 is 129,600. From here, we can add 81 and 256, that is 337x squared equals 129,600. And then next is we will just divide both sides by 337. So we have x squared equals, that this one, let's just write this as 129,600 over 337. And then next is we have to get the square root of both sides. So this will be x equals, now let's just write it as square root of 129,600 all over 337. Or if we will simplify this, we will get 19.61 inches. So this is now the value of x. Now to solve for the value of y, we will use this equation right here. So y equals 16 over 9x. Now to solve for the value of y, we will be using this value right here, because 19.61 is already the estimated value. So to be exact, let's just use this one, the square root of 129,600 all over 337. Y equals 16 over 9 times square root of 129,600 all over 337. And then solve this using your calculator. So we will have 34.86 inches as our final answer. So this is now the value of y. So therefore, we can say that the width of TV is 34.86 inches and length is 19.61 inches. And then this will be our final answer. Let's have this second problem. From a circular piece of metal sheet with diameter 10 cm, a rectangular piece with perimeter 28 cm is to be cut as shown. Find the dimensions of the rectangular piece. If you will imagine this word problem, so there is a circle, and inside the circle is a rectangle. So to illustrate the word problem, again we have circle whose diameter is 10 cm. And inside the circle is a rectangle whose perimeter is 28 cm. So we know that the perimeter of rectangle is 28 cm. So now we have to identify what will be the dimensions of the rectangular piece. So that means we are looking for the length and the width of this rectangular piece right here. So we can assign values of, or we can assign variables to the length and the width. So we can assign this side as x. So this one is also x. And then the other side here is y. So this one is also y. So again, we are solving for the values of x and y. So let's now write the equation that represents or that we can use in order to solve this given word problem. First is, let's use this concept that we know, wherein the perimeter of the given rectangle is 28 cm. Now to recall also, to get the perimeter of a rectangle, we have to add 2L and 2W. That means you multiply the length twice, then you add also the product of the width times 2. So this is the formula. So we can use this in order for us to write an equation. In this given word problem, we can see that the length is x and then the width is y. So we can write here 2x plus 2y equals 28. Now remember, x we refer it as the length, and the y, that is for the width of the given rectangle. So we have 2x plus 2y equals 28. You can interchange the two. It can be 2y plus 2x equals 28, so it doesn't matter. So this equation right here, 2x plus 2y equals 28, came from the perimeter of the rectangle. For our equation number 2, like what we did with the problem number 1, we used a right triangle. So as you can see here, after we put the diameter of the given circle, there are now two triangles formed. So this one is a right triangle, also the other one is a right triangle. So we can use again the Pythagorean theorem. So these are the legs, and then this one is the hypotenuse. So you can write here x squared plus y squared equals 10 squared. Or this one is x squared plus y squared equals 100. So the equations now that we have, 2x plus 2y equals 28, x squared plus y squared equals 100. Now to solve this, again, you can use elimination or substitution. It's up to you what you will use. But for this case, since if you will notice, the variables in the first equation, their exponent is just 1. For equation number 2, their exponent is 2. So that means they don't have similar variables. So it is better if we will use substitution. So we will be using substitution here, and we will start with equation number 1. So let's use equation number 1 to have a value or a temporary value of x or y. So equation number 1 is 2x plus 2y equals 28. So as you can see, all of them is divisible by 2, so we can still simplify. So we have x plus y equals 14. It's either now here you move x on the other side or y on the other side. So it will be okay. So let's just move y on the other side so that we can have x equals 14 minus y. So this is now the temporary value of x, and then we will use this and substitute this to equation number 2 to identify the first variable, which is y. So to continue, using equation number 2, so let's now do substitution. Equation number 2 is x squared plus y squared equals 100. And we have to substitute the value of x, which is 14 minus y. So here we have 14 minus y and then squared plus y squared equals 100. And then you simplify this, square of binomial, or you can do FOIL method. 14 squared is 196. And then 14 times negative y times 2, that's negative 28y. Plus y squared, and then plus y squared again, equals 100. Simplify this, y squared and y squared, so that is 2y squared. So just copy 196 and negative 28y, and then we have here plus 2y squared equals 100. We can rearrange the terms here. So we have 2y squared minus 28y plus 196. Then 100, we can move here on the other side. So we have minus 100, then equal to 0. After that, we can simplify this 2 right here. So 2y squared minus 28y plus 96 equals 0. Now look at the terms of the given equation. So as you can see here, all of them are still divisible by 2. So simplify them. So we have y squared minus 14y plus 48 equals 0. Now we now have a quadratic equation here. And in order to solve this, we can use factoring. So let's write here again. Y squared minus 14y plus 48 equals 0. Now find factors of 48 that when you add, the answer is negative 14. So we have negative 8 and negative 6. So the factors here will be y minus 8 and y minus 6 equals 0. Then after that, we can now equate each factor to 0. So we can get the values of y. So this will be equal to y equals 8, and the other one is y equals 6. Then after that, we can solve now for the value of x. So using the equation that we have, x equals 14 minus y, let's solve for x. So if y is 8, so we have x equals 14 minus 8, which is equal to 6. And then if y is equal to 6, so we have x equals 14 minus 6, or x equals 8. So now as you notice, first pair here is y is 8 and then x is 6. The other one, y is 6 and then the other one is 8. So it doesn't matter. What we will do is we'll just consider 1. Since we're just asked by the dimensions of the rectangle. So for our final answer, we can write the dimension of the rectangle is 8 inches by 6 inches. So that will be our final answer. So we know that the dimensions of the rectangle is 8 inches by 6 inches. So that's it for today. I hope you learned something about solving word problems involving systems of nonlinear equations, and see you next time.